Welcome back to another edition of Reality Check, your weekly deep dive into all things unscripted television. This week we're diving into The Voice and The X Factor, and I am here with Season 6 American Idol standout Melinda Doolittle. She's got a new single dropping October 22nd. Melinda, tell us about it.
Yay! I am so excited. It's called Never Giving Up. I wrote it, and it is just pretty much my story, and I cannot wait for people to hear it. It's time for new music to come out, so.
Not to be totally superficial, but you are looking hot on the cover.
I'll just say I'm happy with the cover. I don't know if I can actually say.
I won't make
I'll
you
also say it takes a village. That's all. That's the rest.
So let's dive right into The Voice. This was the final week of blind auditions. We only got one real episode and then a clip show.
It was just one big NBC commercial.
I auditioned for The Voice. Do you want to see that?
No. It was. Sean Hayes kept jumping in.
Yeah.
Not the best ad for his comedy. I'm just going to put it out there.
Let me just go. Can we go again?
Who did you like this week? Who was your favorite?
I think I'm going to have to give that to Matt, the returning contestant. I loved his tone. When he went up into his falsetto, it was just gorgeous. I can hold you up, never hold you up. The control that he had, him playing the guitar. I know you put him as number 2, but I'm gonna have to give Matt my number 1 spot.
He's also super cute. I mean, we just have to put it out there, right?
That didn't hurt.
I was getting like a Chris Allen 2.0 vibe from him. It's not just me, right?
No. It's totally not just you. You know I love me some Chris Allen, so I will totally give that to Matt.
My only concern is he's up against James Irwin in the battle rounds, the other returning contestant. They love like versus like, so Adam's 2 returning contestants are against each other, and I know that James was a 4-chair turn, so I'm like, which one of those guys is gonna go?
Take that money, watch it burn, sink in the river, the lessons I learned.
I like Matt a lot better than James, actually. So I'm just gonna say that the only reason he didn't have a 4-chair turnaround was because judges were being really picky because they were right at the end.
I think Matt was my second favorite. I liked Michael Lynch. And when they said Michael Lynch, I was like, oh, American Idol's Michael Lynch? Like, check it.
I know, I was like, LL Cool J is back.
Check me out on iTunes, Michael Lynch.
Check me out on iTunes.
Not the same Michael Lynch.
iTunes.
A very white Michael Lynch who's into Latin music.
My freshman year of high school, that was when I began to study Spanish.
Whitey Whitenstein. It wasn't like he was a quarter Puerto Rican or something and that was his heritage. So I was like, oh, is this gonna be a train wreck? And then he started singing and I was like, you go on with yourself. Like, this is great. But he can't really dance is the only problem. Like, the dancing portion of Bailamos was 3 drinks in at a wedding.
It didn't bother me that his dancing moves were a little bit off. And he held his own with Christina.
When Christina got up, it was like she was challenging him to a dance-off. And suddenly he started singing and then she was like, whoa, you know, doing her huge. That really didn't sound like Christina, but you know.
Not even a little bit.
And
I know that you said Christina got up for a dance-off, but she did say, give me my microphone. And once they handed her that red bedazzled microphone, I was like, oh, she about to sing. She about to sing.
Come on, Paul. Give me a chorus. Bailamos.
Anyway, who was your third favorite this week?
I loved Tamara.
Did ya?
I know that she put a lot of runs in there. I know that she did. And the very end, she didn't have to do everything that she did right at the very end. However, she nailed every single thing that came out of her mouth. Her tone was awesome. Her pitch was amazing. And that song is hard to sing, and she sang her tail off.
She nailed it all right. She nailed it to a wall. Sort of like, ah.
And it's me and you.
My third favorite for the week, if I was gonna like channel my inner Carson Daly, coming up next, an artist who tragically lost her last name in a trash compactor accident. Gray. That's it.
Gray.
Gray.
Gray was your third favorite?
I put Gray as my third favorite. This week, there were only 2 contestants I was like, cannot wait to see them go to the battle rounds, and those were Matt and Michael. But if I had to pick a third, I think Gray was solid.
This is my life. I won't be told what's supposed to be right.
Maybe if she can somehow infuse more of her own personality into the song, she could be one to watch.
personality,
You were
spunk, anything.
I'm gray.
Her name is even gray. It's just right down the middle. You know, it can't even be black or white, just right down the middle. If she had some energy. We can't even, do you see how hard this is? We can't even talk about her. We can't even think of what to say.
Never mind. Let's move along. I've got to ask you, before we transition to X Factor, one big question I have about The Voice for you.
Okay.
Do you care what team a singer is on? Because the show makes a big deal of like,
Christina has the lead with 11 artists.
she's not leading anything, she's just further along to filling up her team. It doesn't mean she's in the lead. Even if you're my least favorite coach, if you're the best singer, that's who I'm rooting for. I don't care what team you're on. I just want you to be the best you can be.
I need the best singer to win, but I don't think that that's America's take on it. I think sometimes they vote based on the mentor, and that's the only thing that like is kind of my disconnect with mentors, is that people are like, I voted Team Blake.
Right.
And I'm like, well, what does that even mean? Who did you vote for? Who do you love, and why did you vote for them, other than the fact that they're on Blake's team or Adam's team or Christina's team? And I mean, let's just be honest, people don't just vote for people because they're on CeeLo's team.
So Melinda, the 4-chair challenge is done on the X Factor.
This got me excited about X Factor all over again. I have to be honest. I love it so much more than The Voice's battle rounds where people are like singing against each other but together. Like, I just don't even get that.
Radioactive, radioactive.
Did you miss the judges' mansions and the boot camp portion of the competition?
Let's just be real here. We all know that the producers know who's gonna make it through the judges' mansions and boot camp and all that kind of stuff beforehand, so we're just gonna pull down that curtain and say, no, I didn't miss that at all. I didn't miss having to go through somebody's house that probably wasn't even theirs and watch them just kind of whittle people down. I wanna hear the voices.
There were two things that bugged me. One,
Okay.
the first girl sings on Demi's team. She's no good. You know she's not gonna make it through.
I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came.
Maybe you should have just sent her home right there and just said, look, if that's all you've got to bring, then I'd rather have an empty chair. I'd rather be like Clint Eastwood at the Republican National Convention and just have an empty chair.
You are in my final four.
I completely understood them letting the first 4 just sit down, because what if the rest of your team just chooses to be awful that night? Then you don't have 4 people. Like, what happens then? So I understand like seating 4 people and then being like, okay, now you're better than that girl that I sat down. Move out of the way.
Let's talk about Paulina Rubio, as Mario likes to call her.
Up next, it's Paulina and the boys.
She changed her mind based on audience booing.
The boy that I'm gonna send home is
What's up with that?
Tim Olsen.
First of all, the audience was right. I actually feel like the audience was right. However, there should be some sort of rule in place that, like, you send somebody home, you send them home.
I need to be true with myself. I want Tim back.
I don't even really know if either Tim or Timmy really nailed it in terms of their audition. So frankly, it's like 6 of one, a half dozen of the other.
I am a woman of my word. I am a human being and I also made mistakes.
Simon Cowell's a human being and made mistakes by putting you on this panel. Like, she hasn't really offered much through the whole show. And then
That's
like
what I was
her
gonna
one
say.
big moment is like, I don't know what I'm doing.
The entire season for me, Paulina has kind of not known exactly what was going on. You know, like some of my favorite audition episodes were the ones where she was off somewhere doing something else. And I know that that sounds awful, and I'm sorry because she seems like a really nice person.
Right.
I'm just not positive as a judge and a mentor. Like, what is she going to give them? So maybe we'll see once the live part starts what she has to offer them as far as a mentor goes, because she's a great artist. So maybe she has something that she can really give them. But as a judge, it's
You have a point.
my
Maybe she
favorite.
was confused. Maybe she thought the 6 people she was sending off stage were going to go and be on her team, and the 4 in the chairs at the end, they were going to like open up the floor and drop them into the pit with the Rancor, like in Star Wars.
Being a mentor is not easy.
Check me out on iTunes.
I'm Haley Steinfeld, and you're watching ENTV. Hi, my name is Kiernan Shipka, and you're watching ENTV.
Aubrey Plaza, ENTV. I just touched it with my mouth, sorry.